Hey, good morning slash good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to our final live of the Triathlon Nutrition Academy Open Week. It has been a fun week. It has been jam-packed with so many fun things. I am losing my voice. I've had a double shot coffee this morning to get me through the final last stretch. Good morning, Emma, Jeff Coat. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Silver Charm. What are you doing? Married by Tash. Look at all these people that join my lives on the weekends. So what I'm going to do is I'll share my screen on Facebook if you do want to have a look. And this is your opportunity to pick my brain on anything to do with triathlon nutrition and also the Academy program, because doors do close in 23 hours. So it's 9 a.m. here, my time in Brisbane, Australia, and they're going to close at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So 23 hours from here. Now is the perfect opportunity to pick my brain on anything if you are stuck or if there's anything that you want to know. My thumbs are getting sore from messaging everyone back at the moment. So video is so much better for me. But any questions, please holler. Let's keep this nice and light. It's the weekend here in Australia. So if anybody's watching on Facebook, I can see you there. Just drop a little hello in the comments so I can see who you are and say hi. And if you need to know anything, let me know. So we have had a huge week. I've really enjoyed going live with our Academy members this week. They did so good. I'm so proud of them. It's the first time I've ever made them go live on Facebook and Instagram at the same time. Hello, Claire Louise. How are you? And you know, it's not complicated tech, but it's like a whole other layer of tech. And so they all smashed it. They nailed it. And yeah, go back and watch that recording if you have the time, or listen to it when you're on the wind trainer or going for a run. They are doing some really amazing things as a result of working on their nutrition, and that is like in no way a plug. Their lives have changed, and it's really cool to hear that. So any questions, Claire, about the Academy program before we close doors down in the day? dietitianapproved.com/academy if you do want to go and check it out. Once doors close on Sunday, my time, in 23 hours, then they won't open again. Hey, Jamie, they won't open again until January 2024. So it's a full 6 months away. And in 6 months, you'll have been through phase 1 and phase 2 of the program, and you'll be ready to start phase 3 come January 2024. So if you've got some really key events next year that you want to do the best job possible with, then now is the time to work on your nutrition, because you can't work on your nutrition 2 weeks out from a race. It really is a 12-month journey to go and learn everything that you need to know about your race nutrition, as well as setting up all of your practice to make sure that you have confidence and you're comfortable with race day. There is nothing worse than turning up to the start line feeling like you haven't done enough or you're winging your nutrition, because we know from the research that athletes that have a plan perform better than athletes that don't. Like, it is actually studied literature. You will have a much more enjoyable day out there on race day too if you can go out there and just leave it all out there and know that you have done everything that you can to set yourself up for success for race day. Because we spend so much money as a triathlete on all the things, our bikes, all of our gear, coaching, strength training, which hopefully you're doing. And then, you know, not to mention the race fees. And then if you've got to travel to go and do those races. So you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on triathlon. And then it makes no sense to my brain that you would turn up and not be fully confident in what you're doing in your approach with nutrition, or to not have a race plan. So it's just kind of flipping our priorities in our mind a little bit and knowing that your body is the thing that's going to get you to the finish line the fastest. It's not going to be a 20 grand bike. So Claire said she's good. I'm in Perth, so it's 7 a.m. here. I'm vegan, mainly raw vegan, and sometimes struggle with nutrition. Yeah, we do have a couple of vegan athletes in the program, actually, that I can connect you with, Claire, if you need to. It's really, hey, Kurt, Kurt's one of our athletes that's just joining us. Hey, Nath. It's really just about understanding how to get everything that you need from your diet. So some key nutrients, being a vegan, which you're probably already aware of, is definitely protein. We just don't absorb and digest plant protein as well as animal-based sources. So we need to know how to eat those strategically to get the full complement of amino acids that we need. Iron's another big one. I don't know how old you are, Claire, but as a female athlete, then iron is something that you'll really need to monitor and get enough of when you're relying on plant-based sources. And so that's one of the things we tackle in phase 1 of the program is we talk about iron in detail just to make sure you're getting everything you need. 44 in 2 weeks. Happy birthday. Spring chicken. Hey, Egan. And calcium's another key one as well, particularly if you're not having any dairy. We need to make sure you're getting enough calcium from your diet, and it doesn't have to come from dairy. Dairy is just a great source of calcium. It's very calcium rich. But if you're relying on plant-based sources, we need to be a bit more crafty about getting our requirements each day, because calcium is important for obviously strong bones and teeth, which most people are aware of. But we also need calcium for every single muscle contraction. And so as a triathlete, and we train for 3 sports, then you're contracting your muscles all the time. And we need to make sure that we're getting enough and we're not borrowing from our bones at any point, because that at your age, I'm not saying you're old, but at 44, you start getting into that higher fracture risk at about 50 or around menopause. So thinking about that, we can't build any more bone density. Our peak bone density is when we're in our early 20s, but we need to maintain what we've got. And so depending on how long you've been vegan for, that's something that we can talk about in the first phase and make sure that you're doing a good job there. Plus a whole heap of other things. So yeah, there are quite a few vegan athletes in the program actually. And I think the people there's a couple of plant-based athletes that are joining us this round as well. So you'll have some buddies that you can, share recipes with and talk about tofu and all those things. Do you have any other questions, Claire, while you've got me? I might share my screen on Facebook. 5 years, yeah. So hopefully you're all over it. You've been doing it for a little while now. Yeah, hopefully you're all over it, but I can also help you tweak and finesse things if you need to. Okay, so I might share my screen on Facebook. And how do I do that? I've just got a million screens happening. I've got too many things going on, but I'm going to show you share screen. Here we go. I can't see that. Hold on. Here we go, share. I'm just going to walk you through the program. I'm a super visual person, so it helps me if I can see things. But if you're cruising around on Instagram, then you won't be able to see it, but that's okay because I'm going to talk you through it anyway. So if I open that right up and change this to you don't really need to see me. Here we go. All right. Hey, Stephen B. So this is the Academy page. I'll drop the link in the chat box on Facebook for you. Hopefully that works. Here we go. dietitianapproved.com/academy. If you do want to go and check it out. Still got too many things going on. I can show that on YouTube and I can show that on Facebook, I think. Otherwise, it's all over the internet at the moment, or go to dietitianapproved.com and you pretty much can't miss it. But doors do close in 23 hours, less than 23 hours now. So if you are watching along and have been thinking about it all week, this is just a little bit of a gentle kick in the butt, but you have to get it sorted in less than 24 hours. Because once the doors close, they do close. Every time I open the Academy, we have people email us in the days following saying, I missed it, can I get in? And the answer is no. Not because I'm mean, but because we do run it live and I don't want you to miss out on that first little bit. Hey, Sally, our first power hour session, if you're going to make it. And Yeah, like it's now or never. You've had the entire week to get your shit together, so it's time to get your shit together. So let me run you through the phases. I'm just going to jump down to those down on this page here, but there's lots of information here. That was me last year when I was training for a channel swim. Yeah, you needed to get your shit together. It's okay. Sometimes like life gets busy. I totally understand that. Hey, Lindsay, we do a lot of things, right? We've got to work, we've got to train for 3 sports, maybe family commitments and all those sorts of things. So we've got a lot going on, but just stop for a second. Don't miss out if this is something that you want to do, because the only opportunity to get in next is in 6 months' time, and you will be feeling pretty supercharged by that point. So I like to teach athletes how to build their nutrition from the ground up, because so often we are trying to build our pyramid or bake our nutrition cake from the other direction. Like the tip of the iceberg, the sprinkles on the icing on your cake is what most triathletes do first, because there is a lot of gadgets and products on the market, and you just feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses. Otherwise, you're going to miss out, or someone else might have that performance edge over you. But if you haven't baked your cake, that foundational layer, the sponge, then there is nothing for sprinkles to go to. They're just going to fall on the floor. They're going to fall flat. You're going to be wasting your money, and you're not actually going to be getting the advantage from them if they are useful in the first place. And then once we've built our sponge, our big foundation of the pyramid, we need to put some icing on top of that as well. So that's our phase 2 stuff, where we start to talk about more advanced nutrition. Can you see my cursor? Thank you, Marla. What a legend. I don't know what I'd do without you, Marla, just saying. That's our advanced level. So it's our phase 2 stuff. So we spend a lot of time working on your day-to-day nutrition and making sure you know exactly what to eat for every type of training day in our phase 1 stuff. Make sure you're getting enough calcium, make sure you're getting enough iron, and put some foundations in place for your ride and your run fuel as well. Then we put some icing on that cake in phase 2, and we're starting to talk about our race nutrition principles and setting that up for success. So we dive straight into carbohydrate loading and making sure you have a plan for that is custom to you, as well as I'm going to teach you how to strategically evolve that over time as you practice, as you get better at it, and what you need to do for different types of races, because you don't want to carb load the same for all of them. Like you'd carb load differently for an Olympic distance versus a full distance Ironman, but you need to understand why and then how. And then we need to practice and tweak and evolve that over time. So I'm going to show you how to do that, because it's not a set and forget, like here's a carb loading plan, go and follow it, see you later. We need to think a bit differently about our nutrition and not just be mediocre. And if we're going to do carb loading, we need to do it right? If you're going to do something, do it properly. It's not eating a bowl of pasta the night before your race, going for a spaghetti and going, yep, tick, I'm carb loaded, because that comes nowhere near what you need to effectively carb load. I'll run through all of the topics that we go through in a second. So phase 2 is, carb loading, your pre-race meal. We start to talk about some performance enhancing supplements here, and we're talking about more advanced strategies around the types of carbohydrates and sugars that are in sports products and what we're looking for, so that you can use things that are right for you, rather than buying stuff that's not right and wasting your money and having no idea, or using stuff that just doesn't agree with you as well. And then we talk about fueling targets and what you're aiming for on the bike, on the run, and how to decide what is right for you, which a lot of people are just completely winging it in that space. I'm going to show you how to be much more strategic around your fueling so that you're getting what you need. And then once we've built our cake and we've built our pyramid layer, we're going to go up right up to the top, to the 1%ers, to the sprinkles, and really taking our knowledge and our nutrition to the next level. So in this phase here, we are building more longer course nutrition strategies as well. And knowing that you've done 6 months of work on your nutrition, we're going to talk about what does your day-to-day food look like now that you've got a huge, a really good base when it comes to nutrition. We build your 70.3 and full distance, like Ironman distance race nutrition plans in phase 3. Phase 2, we do your sprint and Olympic. Hey, Neil. And everything that goes with that. So you'll have a race nutrition plan for every single distance: sprint, Olympic, 70.3, 140.6, all of them. And not just what you do on the day. You're going to have a plan for what you do in the race week, what you do for carb loading, what you do the day before, your pre-race meal in the morning. Hello, Neil. Good morning. And then what you do in your race, on the bike, on the run, through the whole thing, whatever it is whatever you're doing, as well as your immediate recovery, and then out the other side as well. Because we kind of forget, once we cross the finish line, we think, okay, nutrition's done now, but it's not. If you want to recover quickly and back up and not fall into a sick hole or get injured a few weeks after an event, which is really common, then we need to think and extend our nutrition further beyond that. So you'll have a plan for every distance that encompasses all of those things. Okay, so that is kind of how we step through the phases. Each one goes for 12 weeks, which is why it's a 9-month program, because you can't change your nutrition overnight. I would love to give you a magic pill to go, here you go, everything's going to be perfect when you wake up in the morning, but it doesn't work that way. You do have to do a little bit of work, but I promise you that I will set you up forever so that you only have to do it once. I'm really passionate about equipping you with the knowledge and skills so that you can manage nutrition by yourself without having to pay someone for a plan every time you want a new meal plan. There's a really nice saying that I love to say: give a man a fish or a woman, give her a woman a fish and she eats for a day, but teach a man or a woman to fish and they eat for a lifetime. And that is how our program is designed, is that it's got you covered for life. So we're working on triathlon performance, but we're also working on your long-term health so that you can be a fit, healthy 80-year-old and not completely broken. That's the goal. Okay, you haven't got like severe bone mineral density issues because you did a crap job of fueling and eating properly when you were younger and you thought you were really fit because you're a triathlete. So the way that our program is set up is we've got a weekly masterclass that goes for the first 8 weeks of each phase. And then in the back 4 weeks, there is still a masterclass that drops, but we don't have the power hours for those 4 weeks. So it's kind of like a training program. You've got the work and the build, and then some rest and adaptation for the last 4 weeks to give you some time to just really cement your knowledge around what we've done in that phase before we move on to the next one. So power hours go almost weekly. They run for the first 8 weeks of each phase and then 4 weeks off. And then we're straight back onto 8 weeks on, 4 weeks off for phase 2. Same again for phase 3. And what happens in power hour is we all jump on Zoom, like your phase jumps on Zoom. So phase 1 stays together and then you stay together as you go to phase 2. We don't have alumni in the same session as phase 1s who are just starting, so that our conversations can be the same and we're all at the same level and we're all making the same mistakes together and there's no stupid questions. It's a safe place to ask me anything, and it can be related to the content and it can also be completely unrelated to what we're going through at the moment. So in power hours, a lot of people run me through their plans, like carb loading, and I tweak and finesse it for them or give them other suggestions. We go through blood test results if you've had that done. You don't have to have that done, but an annual sort of check is good, and we can go through that. And really just have a good time and make nutrition a safe and fun place to be. And the connections that athletes have made in power hours have been so amazing. Like, it's been a joy for me to watch. The guys that have just finished have actually created their own little private Facebook Messenger chat so that they can like throw banter and I don't know, chat about whatever they want to without me. They didn't invite me to their private chat, which I'm okay with. But they have all made friends all around the world and they've never met each other in real life. Hey, Brads. They've never met each other in real life, but they're all like still connected. And there's chat of them all doing a race together next year somewhere in the world, which is pretty cool. So it is a very supportive place, and you will make friends and tri buddies all over the world. So if you are needing that connection and support, then it's a great place to get it. There's no stupid questions, and everyone is, you know, failing forwards in a way. We're all working on our nutrition together, and it's not something you can get perfect in week one. So someone like Lynn, she lives really rural here in Australia. She lives 3 hours away from a major city, and power hours are her favorite time of the week because it gives her that connection with people. She often goes and sits in her car or chucks a sickie. We shouldn't say that out loud. But she does commit to turning up because she loves that connection so much that she doesn't get at home. And triathlon is a solo sport. It's very social, particularly if you're in a squad and you have training buddies. But if you don't, it can be quite isolating. And we do a lot of training on our own sometimes as well. So it's a nice little group of training buddies, instant tri friends around the world that like everyone's cool, everyone's really nice, no one's going to bite. So that's how the phases work and how the main nutrition components work. And then I've also got lots of tools and resources to help you make eating well easier. I know how time consuming like meal planning is, and trying to do grocery shopping and all those sorts of things. So I've set you up with lots of tools to help make that whole process easier, save you time, save you money, keep it stress-free. So you get access to my entire recipe database, which has got over 150 dietitian approved recipes that I've developed with the active person in mind. So they are all like hitting the right targets for what we need as an active person. So you're getting enough protein from a recipe, which is really important. And a lot of recipes don't have that. And if you're still online, Claire, give me a holler if you're still here. I can help you also understand how to manipulate recipes. If you find something that you think looks good, how do we check that it is what you need, not what is provided, or like how to manipulate it based on your goals and needs. We also have recipes that have got scalable carbohydrates. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Still here? All right, cool, Claire. And there is a whole separate carb loading section. If like once we get to carb load, I've got some things for you to just start to try so that you're not overwhelmed trying to sort that out for yourself as well. Making sure your recipes also have a huge range of nutrients, which is really important for us as endurance athletes, because we forget about that when we're so focused on macros and carbs and proteins and things like that, and we forget the little micros that we have higher needs for, and we need to make sure we're getting enough of out of our diet. Hey Andrew, hey Anita. All right, give me a second. Getting out of breath. Okay, so the recipe database you get instant access to, and you have access for the entire duration that you're a member, and that's something that I add to as well. So I'll do another big edition once I've recovered from this. And I've been filming some recipes as we go, so that it's easier to cook them too. And as an Academy member, you do get the recipe as a PDF, and that's not available to the general public. They don't get the PDF, only online. You also have 52 weeks of our menu planner. So I've given you an entire plan. I don't have one with me. I should have brought one. Actually, I do have one. Let's see if I can find it. You've got 52 weeks of mapping out what your dinners are for the week, as well as the shopping list to go with it. Maybe I don't. The shopping list to go with it, and then the recipe to follow to cook that with ease. Because I know that is a big stress point. No, I can't find it. That's a big stress point for people. Like you either love like menu planning or you hate it and you suck at it and it's a chore. Now, planning meals is like my happy place. So I've done 52 weeks for an entire year, and there's 4 seasonal menus. We've got summer, autumn, winter, and spring, so that the meals that you're having fall into those. Like you're not going to want to eat a massive big salad in the depths of winter when it's freezing. Same as reverse, like in Australia, I don't really want to eat a really like warm, comforting winter warmer. Hello, Chris. Welcome to this live. Chris has just joined us. I'm so excited to get started with you, Chris. You don't want to eat a big like winter warming type thing in the middle of summer as well. Like you're sweating sitting still here in Australia, and that's just going to make that worse. So the seasonal menus are designed for the season, and it's got all of your dinners in recipes that aren't going to take too long to cook as well. Like you're not slaving away every single night cooking. There's always leftovers planned on 2 nights a week at least. For those nights where maybe you have an evening training session or work's really busy, or you're doing like the parent taxi thing and like this kids sport, and you don't have time to be cooking. So you just want to come home and have dinner basically leftover, ready and made. Or the other option is like stashing some stuff in your freezer. So again, you have a plan for eating. It's not get home and go, oh crap, what's for dinner? Oh, I don't have anything, so I'm going to have to run to the shops. We want to avoid that at all costs when you're trying to train for 3 sports in a week. So both of those tools, the recipe database and the menu planner, are designed to just help you fast track your life when it comes to eating for health and performance. And then the other thing that you get is private access to our academy community. Now, I deny requests to join into that all the time. It is only for academy members only, and it is a whole lot of fun, but it also connects you with triathletes from all over the world too. And we all high five each other and cheer each other on for events. So you've got your instant tri squad, as well as we like share new products and talk about those. We share plans and have a look at those so that you're getting ideas and seeing what other people are up to, as well as, you know, asking questions for yourself. We always talk about nutritional things in Power Hour so that I can get to learn you and know you and know what your goals are and what you're heading for. But the community place, we share lots of things. Like there's always new things on the market. There, I was just looking this morning. There's a new like protein watery type thing that one of the girls in the US is going to try, and so we're looking at that label and deciding if it's good or not and things like that. So it's not overwhelming, and you get instant access to that only academy members get to. So that is kind of all the things that you get as part of the program, as well as 12 months access to the entire thing. So just in case you have a really busy time at work and you're a couple of weeks behind, or you go away on holidays and you don't want to talk to me for a couple of weeks, that's totally fine. No stress. There is time. So don't feel like you have to be on top of it all the time. You've got more duration of the program than it runs for, because I know that life is going to throw you a curveball probably, or you might have a race and you're, hey, Kirsten, there might be a couple of weeks where you get behind, and that's totally fine. Like no pressure, no stress. The other question I get around the program is how much time is it going to take me each week? And it's probably going to take you a maximum of 2 hours. So you've got your masterclass that drops on the weekend. It drops at 5 a.m. Brisbane time on Saturday morning. So depending on where you are in the world, Perth time, that's going to be pretty early for you, Claire, because what are you, 3 hours different? So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 o'clock in the morning, right? On Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Or is it Friday? No, it's Saturday. Confusing myself with time zones. They're blowing my mind. So that you've got the weekend where you've maybe got more time to go through it. And then we've got our Power Hour sessions on Thursday morning, my time. Hey, Caitlin, which if you're in the US or Canada, it's Wednesday afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in your time zone. And if you're in the UK, it's like 11 o'clock at night. So Power Hours are recorded for that reason, so that if you can't make it, you still don't miss out. I get frustrated when I do things and I can't make it because I'm busy, and there's no way for me to catch that back up. And that's a struggle point for me personally. There was something on that I wanted to go to when I was running my webinar yesterday, and I just had to miss it. So we do record power hour sessions, and there's a spot that you can submit your questions for me ahead of time, and I will always answer them for you live. And then we'll timestamp the recording, so you can jump back in and go and see what time point I answered that and the discussion around that. So you'll never be without a sports dietitian in your pocket. We have a phone app, so you literally can have me in your pocket. And a lot of people do listen to power hours when they're going for their long runs, or listen to the masterclass when they're going for their long runs, or on the wind trainer, or driving the car to work, or doing like the school pickup run and things like that. So it's not like you have to be sitting down at a computer with your pen and notebook. Like, you're welcome to do that if that's the type of learner you are. But a lot of people are, doing things like their own wind trainer session on our power hour sessions. I love that. I love that you guys are exercising while you're learning about nutrition. That's like, makes me so happy. So 2 hours a week, you've got 30 to 60 minutes for the masterclass, depending on what topic we're talking about. Some are shorter than longer. And then power hour goes for an hour. It's the hour of power. And that does get recorded as well. So if you are, like, we have some UK athletes in the program. If you don't want to stay up till 11 o'clock at night, like, absolutely no offense taken, I wouldn't want to do that either. When you wake up the next day, it's all there ready for you to go to watch that recording or listen to the recording. And I'll always answer questions for you no matter what. So we've got our masterclasses, we've got our power hour sessions, we've got recipe database, 52 weeks of menu plans for dinners. I'm never going to be prescriptive and tell you have to eat this for breakfast, lunch, these are your snacks. Meal plans like that don't work because you don't stick to them for a long period of time. So I'm going to show you how to build your own meal plan around the foods that you like, the foods that you want to eat based on wherever you are in the world. And I'm going to show you how to adapt that based on whatever's going on in your life. So training volume, holidays, sick, injured, anything like that. I'm going to show you how to adapt it so that you don't have just this one plan that you think is like set and forget, and then you have no idea how to manipulate it if something happens. And that's really important, because that is where the value comes from, in knowing how to manage your nutrition on a day-to-day basis. If you need to go and get a new meal plan, like I've spent many years writing meal plans, if training changes and you don't know how to change your food and you got to go and get a new meal plan, then that is like a delay in time. And we want to be really proactive with our nutrition and be making changes in that moment. We don't want a delay, because that's when we run the risk of getting sick and injured. So you also get our private community, which honestly is priceless. You can't really put a value on that thing. That is the greatest place on earth. It's my favorite part. And these are all of our topics for our phases. So they're on the webpage, dietitianapproved.com/academy, if you do want to go and have a look at them all. There are 36 masterclasses on everything that you need to know about triathlon nutrition. One of the guys in the program was like, I looked at that and I was like, how is Taryn going to talk about those things for this duration? But there's more that I would love to teach you that I just can't even fit into the program. So we talk about that afterwards because I don't want to overwhelm you any more than you probably are. So you can run through all of those topics on that page if you really want to dive into where we're going and where we're heading. But phase 1 is our foundations, and it's setting up your day-to-day nutrition. And we start with recovery and pre-training, because what you do around your training sessions is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. There's a system and there's strategy to the way that I teach you. And I like to layer that like one thing on top of each other so it's not overwhelming. And the program has really come from working with triathletes for 15 years and seeing the common mistakes that they're making and strategically teaching you to eat for the sport. We can't eat as just like a runner for triathlon. We can't translate that completely. We also can't think like a gym goer or somebody that's been dieting their whole life and then try and then eat for triathlon. They're completely different beasts. And when you understand how to do that, how to eat for the demands of 3 sports, then that's when you start to unlock all of that energy and what I call the supercharged triathlete. So you're feeling like you should when you've got your nutrition and your training all intersected and together, so that all of those training adaptations that you're trying to drive by training are beautifully aligned with your nutrition so that we can maximize what we need out of our program. Because otherwise, you're just doing junk training in a way. We only adapt, so we only get fitter and faster and become better from the sessions that we recover from. So if you suck at recovery, like 99% of athletes do, until they know how to do it properly, then you're not actually getting the most out of that training session. And a lot of people do scale back in their recovery. Comes from a bit of a carb phobia mindset and feeling like if you want to drop some body fat, that doing that, not eating, is going to help us. And it's really counterintuitive. And I'll explain that more in the program. So that is our phase 1 stuff. Phase 2, we really dive into setting up our race nutrition for every distance, but we do dive right into the detail of sprint and Olympic. And also what to do for hot racing is another topic I didn't mention earlier, is how do you change your strategy for a hot race versus something that's much cooler? And we need to think a bit strategically around that as well. And then phase 3 is really taking things up to the next level. We talk about your day-to-day nutrition here, particularly now that you've been working on it for a little while. Plus, what does that look like when you do step up to longer course training? Hey Kathleen, how do you eat differently for I'm a sprint Olympic distance athlete versus, okay, now I'm doing a 70.3 or I'm doing a full distance event. What does my day-to-day nutrition look like? That should be different. You can't come into my live. Or do you want to come into my live, Kathleen? You're welcome to. We also talk about gut training in phase 3. Like, what is that? What on earth does that mean? And how do we maximize our fueling for endurance? Because eating and exercising at the same time, like digesting and running away from a lion, are counterintuitive beasts. They are 2 different nervous systems, our sympathetic and our parasympathetic. And we can teach our stomach to digest food while that sympathetic nervous system is elevated or heightened. But it is something that you need to understand and how to do that. And we work out a plan for you based on your event so that you know how to gut train correctly and systematically to maximize how much fuel you can tolerate and absorb when you're exercising. And that's really important. All right. We talk about sodium and hydration in phase 3 as well. So again, taking our hydration knowledge up a little bit higher to the next level, particularly for long course. You want to think about sodium if you're doing Ironman distance events, but like how much, what do you need? What products are we using? How do we understand what our needs are? And so we dive into that in phase 3. And then in the back end, we're also working out your race plans for 70.3, 140.6, and everything that goes with that. Your bonus modules after the phase 3 are all about like life after a race, kind of like finding that balance after a big event. How do you go back to life if you've just say done an Ironman, and like what do you do? I know a lot of people struggle with nutrition and training after something like an Ironman and kind of go a little bit AWOL and just get a little bit lost. So we talk about that. We talk about your recovery beyond as well, like not just those immediate like day. What does recovery look like as we extend that out to really make sure you don't get sick and injured after an event? What else do we talk about in there? I actually can't think of that off the top of my head. But setting things up for you in a much more like global, holistic way. So that is our program in a nutshell. Is there any questions? I feel like all I've done is talk all week. Claire, are you still with me? there's some other people watching along as well. So if you do have any questions, now is a great time to ask me. Doors close in 22 and a half hours now. So if you even want to secret squirrel me, like send me a DM and we can chat that way. I do have some little 15 or 10 to 15 minute call spots open up this afternoon if you do want to jump on Zoom and chat things through with me. Make sure it's the right fit for you, because I don't want you doing something that you don't want to do, but I also I also want you to get out of the program what you want to get out of the program. My goal and my passion is to try and get triathletes eating better for performance in the sport, but also for life. And our program is designed to do that. So there's some further information on the page. We've got 3 different payment options. We've got Aussie dollar and US dollar as well. And you've got an upfront price, as well as you've got the option to spread that payment out over payment plans. So we have 6 monthly payment plans, like spreading that cost out over 6 months, or you can spread the cost out over 12 months, because I really want to make it as accessible to people as possible. I don't want it to be $10, because if it was $10, you would never do it. I want you to commit and work on your nutrition and do it once and do it right. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Like, if you're going to do something, do it right. But to make it accessible, you can spread that right out over 12 months too. So you've got a 9-month program, and, as a measure of good faith, I'm giving you 12 months to pay it off. So Aussie dollars, US dollars. And yeah, we've got 22 hours, 16 minutes and 20 seconds until doors close now. So the clock is ticking. dietitianapproved.com/academy if you want to go and check it out. Oh my goodness, cannot speak anymore. And yeah, I'll be online today, and I'll get up early tomorrow morning before we close doors at 8 a.m. my time, and then I will be jumping off to go and celebrate all of our new members. We are doing a athlete welcome party tomorrow morning as well, so that everyone that's joining us, as well as our oldies, like our newbies and our oldies, can jump on Zoom and start to connect. Good place to ask me any questions, and the program is already unlocked as well. So don't wait till the last minute, because phase 1, recovery nutrition, is already unlocked and waiting for you in your library when you are ready to join, so you can get started straight away. All right, any other questions? Who's trying to request to jump in? You can't come into my live, Kathleen. You can, but you'd have to jump on Facebook as well, otherwise it would be weird. Funny. No requests. Okay, hopefully you got that sorted. Are you still with me, Kathleen? Not sure. All right, any secret squirrels watching on Facebook? Do you want to ask me anything? I'm here. I'll hang out for a little bit, but if it is radio silence, I will jump off and check my email and see how we're going. But yeah, any questions, let me know. You've got 22 hours, 14 minutes and 35 seconds now. Just got a countdown open in front of me. So we've got less than a day, and we've already gotten started. So recovery nutrition is all good. You good, Claire? Any questions? Any questions while you've got me? Let me know. Holla. But thank you for joining me, everyone. There's been a number of people kind of ducking in and out through this session. If you want to secret squirrel me and don't want to ask me a question in this live, I'm totally okay with that. Send me a message. Send me a message offline and I can talk to you. And like I said, there are some spots this afternoon for a quick 10-minute call if you do just want to chat. So yeah, flick me an email if you want that link, or send me a DM and I'll send you that link as well. Like, Claire, you're in Australia, so if you do want to chat this afternoon, you're welcome. I can send you the link in a DM. Anyone that's in the US, you might be asleep. It might be the middle of your night for those, but I'll be online anyway. Send me a DM Send me a DM, send me an email, send me a Facebook message, any of those platforms, I will answer it. It is me, it is not a robot. It's why I'm losing my voice and my hands are a little bit tired from doing these ones all week. But I've had so much fun opening doors this week and sharing lots of nutrition knowledge and some little gold nuggets with you through camp, through our webinar, and I've loved going live with the Academy athletes all this week as well, and just showcasing like what they're up to. They are doing all awesome things. They are smashing PBs, they're saving money, they're eating well, and I just love it. It is honestly why I do what I do. So any questions, let me know. I will jump off now. dietitianimprove.com/academy if you're going to join us. The clock is ticking, 22 hours, 12 minutes, 26 seconds until we close it all down until January 2024. So have a great weekend if you're in Australia. If you're in the US, Canada, Europe, UK, we're in the future here in Australia. Have a great Friday, and yeah, I'm sure I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me live, and yeah, have a great day. Bye.